right. Welcome everyone to our yoga pop-up. I didn't get it online yesterday, but I figure some people might still be interested, and we can always watch it on record. My name is Mark Cormier. I'll be joined by Kathy Cormier at a certain point. We were dog watching for a week or so, and the dog is getting picked up, and she's facilitating that pickup. If you want to work on anything in particular, feel free to put it in the chat. I'll try to take a glance at that every so often. Anyway, let's get going. As the 9 o'clock bell rings here in San Francisco, I'll invite you to bring your hands on your hips and just march it from side to side. Starting to find our feet, starting to wake up our legs. From a place of just marching side to side, staying rooted through both feet as we rock it from side to side. Starting to minimalize that rock to start to move towards center. Now I'll invite you to rock your body front to back as we lift the toes and then lift the heels back and forth. And then staying grounded through the toes and grounded through the heels as we rock it front to back. And then minimalizing that rock as we find our center. At this point, let's let our arms hang down. I invite you just to start to swing the arms front to back to front. Keeping that center vis-a-vis the feet. Letting that swing get a little bigger. And then starting to minimize that swing. And then keeping the shoulders relaxed, tall through the crown of the head. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, let's work with the neck a little bit as we lift the chin and lower a chin. As we work the exercise, consider an invisible tennis ball in front and an invisible tennis ball behind. And we're rounding up and over each ball. So we're finding more length in the neck, even though we're finding flexion on either end. And then the next time your chin is lifted, I'll invite you to hold that as we stretch out the base of our throat. And then up and over that tennis ball in front and holding that as we stretch out the back of our neck. And then bring ourselves back center. Feel free to do this with me. Ears over shoulders. Ears and shoulders over hips. Ears, shoulders, hips over heels. At this point, either keeping your stance wide or challenging your balance as you narrow your stance. We can change that throughout the practice. And let's work with those shoulders a little bit more as we inhale the arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling arms back down by our sides. 2 more times like this. Breathing the arms up. Exhaling the arms down. 1 more time, observing the natural rhythm of the shoulders. As the arms elevate, the shoulders elevate. As the arms descend, the shoulders descend. Adding a forward fold, half sun salutation. Inhaling arms up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as we fold. Feel free to use bricks to raise the floor. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, moving towards a flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like that. I'm going to go sideways. You all stay just as you are. And you'll be able to see the arching of my spine. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, leading with the heart as we fold. Now, if you don't have bricks, hands can cap the knees as we arc. On the exhale, catching the back of the shins as we arch. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. Exhaling. Standing tall. Let's do 1 more like that. It's really focusing on the undulations of the back. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, moving towards a flat back. Arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Sun salutation A. I will not cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then on the exhale, arching the spine. As we ground down through the hands, stepping one foot back, and then the other, finding your down dog. As we hold this down dog, I'll invite you to walk your dog as you bend one leg deeply, grounding down to the opposite heel, and then finding that stretch on the second side. And then freely moving back and forth between the sides, just stretching that out. And then from a place of movement, moving back towards relative stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. On the tail end of our breath, I'll invite you to bend the knees ever so slightly as we lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to arc the back when you arrive. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead, moving towards that flat back. On the exhale, standing tall. Let's do one more sun salé. This time I will cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, excuse me, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we ground on down. Now, feel free not to do the vinyasa. You can either find your down dog and hold, or straight off the bat. Feel free to use the knees or not. As we find a yoga push-up, elbows shave the ribs. Inhaling into a back bend, hips stay down for cobra, or lifting the hips up for your up dog. And then rolling over the toes as you come back to your down dog. And holding, long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as we lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. And then on the exhale, standing tall. So let's do one sun sal B. We'll do it flow style. I'm finding the center of the frame here. It starts with a chair. Knees over toes, hands over head. Inhaling. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine, and either finding your down dog and holding, or cycling through vinyasa as you find your push-up. Inhaling into your back bend, and then exhaling back to down dog. And we'll take it from there. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch heels slightly apart, finding a three-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes as you stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. And then looking between the hands as you bring that right foot through, spinning the back heel down. Hands can always find the hips as you find your balance. And then arms out to the side and then overhead for our warrior one. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. And again, cycling through vinyasa is an option. Just finding your down dog and holding is an option. Finding a place to work that works for your breath, your body, your energy level, where you are today. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down. Arms out to the side and then overhead as we find our warrior one. And then riding the breath back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog. As you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Another great option would be all fours. Another great option would be a child's pose as we nestle our belly back towards our thighs. Wherever you choose to work. Breathing, watching that breath, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. Always feeling free to stay wherever you are. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Followed by an equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or maybe take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, stay low, coming back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart, coming back to that internal focus, watching as our breath flows in and out. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by your side. One of my favorite breath exercises here. I'll go sideways here, and we'll work with our fire breath, feet hip width apart. As we inhale the arms up in front, on the exhale, a short, sharp exhalation out through the nose as we bring the hands back and bend the knees. And we'll do 8 of these. We're halfway done. Last one. And then back up. And either stepping or jumping it in. From here, Sun Cell C, an extended standing pose sequence. I think we'll be joined by Kathy soon enough, but I'll get it going. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold again, and grounding down to a hand, and stepping a foot back and then the other. And at this point, feeling free to cycle through vinyasa, or just holding your down dog. So we'll add a hip opener to our 3-legged dog. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart, right leg high to the sky. Oops. High on the left toes. Now keeping that right shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then pitching that right knee even higher. And then looking between the hands as we bring that right foot through, spinning the back heel down. Arms out to the side. And then overhead for our warrior one. You ready to come in, Kath? All right, right foot front, left foot back, and we'll take it from here. Arms are, yeah. So now I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. If you're as long as you're going to get, stay right there. Otherwise, shifting weight onto the front foot and scooting the back foot back. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front, back hip front, right hip, back hip front, front hip back. Now bringing hands onto our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders, and squaring our heart front. Now finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, and then stretching those hands high to the sky. From here with the breath, pulling silk threads, inhaling, exhaling cactus arms. Let's do 6 of these. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in, breathing out, and holding cactus arms. I'll invite you to ripple your fingers as you keep your hands supple. From here, let's play with a warrior 3 any amount as you bring hands to hips, spinning that back heel up for either a big step or a couple of steps in. Feel free to find the center of the frame. At home, you don't have to do that. And then I'll invite you to start to pour the weight into that right leg as we let the left leg get light. A little different arm move. I don't know if you've done it with me in live class, but I'll invite you just to let your arms hang down towards the ground. And then starting to swing them back and forth. Keep the knee of the standing leg soft to keep your balance. You might even bend and rebend that leg a little bit. Yeah, just keep it loose. You can always touch down. And there's always bricks available. And then I'll invite you to swing those hands forward, very natural. No, swing them forward. So it's just a straight line move here. There you go. And then maybe lifting the face to look through those hands. From here, we can bring those forward hands back to the hips as we take a big step back, coming back to our warrior one. Feel free to adjust yourself for the frame. Finding a length of stance that works for you. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips sideways. We're turning warrior one hips into warrior two hips. Kicking the back foot in for a little bit of a narrower stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. Lots of intentionality, or intention in those fingers. Yeah, really. From here, I'll invite you to paint rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling, exhaling back to warrior two. And just back and forth, breathing in, breathing out, keeping it loose, keeping it liquid. Inhale, exhale. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last two. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. I'll invite you to hold that shape, reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib with every breath, and spreading your fingers wide as you find more space in your hands. Nice. Turning the reverse warrior back into warrior two. Now finding a rainbow warrior. Feel free to grab a strap or a towel. Otherwise, a clasp with the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades back and down initially. Open heart, open throat. And then when you're ready, taking that forward fold inside the front leg. Relax neck, heavy head, and then letting those shoulders slide down towards the floor. Almost like molasses creeping out of a bottle. As we hold the rainbow warrior, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway, inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. In our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as we bring it on up. Lifting the chin tall through the crown as we come back to our warrior two. Transitioning to the triangle, thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. We deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs as we straighten the front leg without locking the knee. Now grounding bottom hand down, either thumb in line with the shin bone to open up that bottom shoulder, or you might grab a brick or two and bring those bricks outside the calf. With our top hand, we can rotate our ribs. Top hand can open up that shoulder. And then stretching top hand high to the sky. As we hold the shape with every breath in, gathering energy in your center. We've got front center, we've got back center, we've got side center. It's a big ball of energy in the center of yourself. And then on the exhale from that ball of energy, from that center, connecting with the pulsation of the breath as you find more length through both arms, both legs, and both ends of the spine. Moving towards another balance challenge here, the half moon. Top hand finds the hip. Either one big step or a couple of steps in as we bring that back foot up, yeah. And then setting your base, right hand off to the right. You need to use carpet, go for it.
I can't tell if I'm in the frame.
I think you're good. Yeah, your head's out of the frame, your back foot's in. Don't worry about it too much.
There, I just do, just like when you move a car
Awesome.
to that
There you go.
sweet spot inside the lines.
So we can use that
Yeah,
top hand
so
to
hard.
rotate ribs, opening up shoulders, stretching hand high. And again, just breathing into your center. And from that center, expanding in the shape from the inside out with every breath. Coming down easily, top hand finds the hip. We can land a short stance. Back foot comes down, no big deal. Shifting the weight into the feet, lengthening the stance as we shift weight onto the front foot, finding our warrior two. From warrior two, I'll invite you to find a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders, finding our low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. Welcome, Maria. As we hold down dog, coming back to that Samarvriti, that same breath, long, smooth breaths in, equally long, smooth breaths out. So let's do a little core exercise before we get to our second side. I'll invite you to inhale forward to plank pose. And then on the exhale, navel to spine as we lift the hips high. A couple more times like that. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. One more to go here. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. And then holding your down dog, coming back to that Samavritti. From here, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a three-legged dog, left leg high to the sky, high in the right toes, stretching out Achilles tendon and calf. Now keeping that left shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up the hip. Now pitching that left knee even higher, and then looking between the hands as we bring that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for our Warrior One. In Warrior One, I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. Now, if you're as long as you're going to get, you're going to stay right there. Otherwise, shifting weight onto the front foot as we scoot the back foot back. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front, front hip back, back hip front. Now, hands find the shoulders, relaxing those shoulders and squaring our heart front. Now, switching the clasp of the fingers as we press the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, and then stretching those hands high to the sky. From here, pulling silk threads, breathing in as we gather up the energy. Exhaling cactus arms as we offer it out 6 times, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Halfway done, breathing in and breathing out. Last 2 here, breathing in and breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out, and holding cactus arms, rippling those fingers, keeping our hands supple. Enjoying the stretch. So let's play with that Warrior 3, any amount. Doesn't have to be a big Warrior 3, but we're just playing with our balance as we either take, we'll spin the back heel up, there you go, and either one big step or a couple of steps in, no rush. Why don't you ground it down first? Yeah, find your short stance first. So big step in, even bigger than that, yeah. So we just want to move from a place of ease. And now, like it's no big deal, you're going to start to keep the knee of the standing leg bent. Yeah, there you go. You're going to start to pour weight into that leg as the back foot gets light. Keep hands on hips initially, yeah. Now keeping the knee of the standing leg soft, you're going to let the arms dangle. Just relax those shoulders. And then very naturally, you can always touch down. We can start to rock those hands forward to back, maybe together, yeah. So I'll do it today anyway. There's other ways to do it. You might even bend and rebend that standing leg so we can wake up our energy currents. And then when it feels right and ready, you can sweep those hands front, no big deal. And then maybe lifting the face to look through those hands as if you're holding a large glass ball. Beautiful. Awesome, and you can get deeper into the shape as we hold. Awesome, look at that. Hands in front, come back to the hips. Big step back or a small step back, you decide. And then we'll come back to that Warrior 2. One long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. From here, painting rainbows, breathing in. Breathing out, Warrior 2. Breathing in. And breathing out. We're halfway done, breathing in. And breathing out, halfway done, breathing in, maybe get wide. Back down, last 2, breathing in. And breathing out. And last one. Holding that reverse warrior, reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib with every breath. Breathing into that space and spreading the fingers of your hand wide. You can think about those fingers mimicking those ribs, finding more space in your hands. And then turning that reverse warrior back into Warrior 2. Strap towel or switching the clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades back and down initially, open heart, open throat, and then taking that deep dive inside the front leg. Take your time. And then bringing the hands up and off the back if you're using a strap or a towel, a little easier. And then relax neck, heavy head, and letting those shoulders slide down towards the floor as we get a nice subtle stretch in our low, mid, and upper back. As we hold the stretch, adding a little swing, a little sway, inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. Earth has plenty of room for that tension. We don't need it in our shoulders. Now in our Rainbow Warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin. Take your time as you bring it on up. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown as we come back to our Warrior 2. Working out over those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease and tension in those front fingers. That's it. From here, moving towards our triangle. Thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib, deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs. Keeping a little spring in that front knee. Either grounding the hand down, thumb in line with the shin bone to open up that bottom shoulder, or catching a brick or two outside the calf to find that foundation. If you do use the bricks, a physical connection between the outside of the calf and the bricks, and that's going to give you a sense of security as we lean back into the shape. Using that top hand to rotate the ribs, opening up shoulder, and then stretching hand high to the sky. As we hold the shape, connecting with the pulsation of the breath with every breath in, gathering energy into front center, back center, side center. With every breath out, as the diaphragm relaxes and releases up towards the heart, the air moves out of our lungs on that impetus, finding more space in the shape from the inside. Awesome. Now moving towards our second balance challenge. Top hand finds the hip, either one big step or a couple of steps in. As we move towards our half moon, left hand off to the left. No need to rush here. Yeah, there you go. Starting to pour the weight into that leg as the back foot gets light. Using that top hand to rotate our ribs. Using that top hand to open up that shoulder. And then maybe stretching that hand high to the sky, depending on where your shoulder is. You can keep it right where it is.
A disembodied head. So
That's all good. Don't worry about the frame too much. A lot of times people are doing their own practice and just listen to me for the audio. And again, breathing into your center. And from that center, finding more amplitude in the shape. Such a beautiful half moon, Kathy.
Thank you.
Just so you know. Not that we haven't done it 1,000 times, but
I don't know if I have actually.
close to 1,000.
Maybe I have.
We've been doing online yoga for a long time, and you've been doing more than online yoga with me for a long time. Coming down easily. Hand finds the hip, short stance, no big deal. Shifting the weight into the feet, hands find the hips. And then lengthening your stance as you come back to your warrior two. And from warrior two, a big windmill of the arms. Yeah, lots of ways to windmill as you make your way back to down dog. And you can either cycle through vinyasa or just stretch straight back, really just letting your body make the call. We always say in yoga, listen to your body. And the second part of that is just respecting what your body has to say. And totally serious about that. It's not some new age thing. It's a big part of the practice. It's just finding that connection with your ease, with where you want to be.
Yoga is not a competition.
Although they do have yoga competitions, which
That's
are
right, in
interesting.
India, right?
Yes, other places too, I think. I think at that point it becomes more acrobatics, circus stuff. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive, arcing the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. We can engage those glutes, supporting that back bend at the top. And then on the exhale, hands by your side. I'll ask you to face camera as we bring hands back to heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as we line up each finger. Relaxed shoulders, a soft tuck of the chin. Coming back to an internal focus, watching as our breath flows in and out. Now lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by your side. All right, yeah, grab some water at any point. Or coffee, or tea. It's a warm day here in San Fran. So let's do another standing sequence and we'll take it into a twist. So start with our chair pose. Would you like to go sideways? Yeah, thank you. Exhaling, taking that chair lower. On the inhale, rising on up like you're bursting out of a pool of water. A little back bend, glutes engaged to support the back bend. And then a big swan dive over. Exhaling. Take a breath to find length as we arc. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold again and grounding down through the hands and either making your way back to down dog or cycling through vinyasa. Your choice. Take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. From down dog, second side here. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the three-legged dog. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is. Lifted leg straight, twisting from the ribs as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then pitching that knee even higher and sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down as we find our warrior one. Arms out to the side and then overhead. Yeah, you can always keep them on the hips. From here, let's bring hands back to the hips. Steering, so lengthening the stance if appropriate, otherwise you stay there. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front. We can bring hands on shoulders, relaxing and squaring our heart front. Again, finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, open heart, open throat. And then stretching those hands high. From here, let's do a little different chest opener. As we sweep the hands in front as if we're holding a tray, we can straighten the front leg without locking the knees. We gather energy in. On the exhale, circling the hands around as we offer it out. Let's do 6 of those. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding. Again, rippling those fingers, keeping your hands supple. So let's bring right hand to right hip. That's the hip of the front bent leg. We bring hands back to hips. And then we're going to move towards a twist here. So that right hand grounds that right hip as we find length on the left side, reaching up. And then reaching out. We'll do that 6 times. Breathing in, reaching up. And then out. Up. Out. Up. Out. Last 2. Up. Out. Last 1. Up. And then reach, reach, reach. We can start the twist with the wrist. We can stay right there or slide into the elbow. Either keeping hand on hip or finding prayer hands. We can look down to the ground, very grounding, off to the side or up past that top elbow with a mixture of effort and ease. We're twisted, we're balancing, still finding that Samarvriti, long smooth breaths in, followed by equally long smooth breaths out. Welcome, Mary. Welcome, Catherine. Now let's come out of that twist easily as we frame front foot with both hands. You might grab those bricks. We're going to turn into a hamstring stretch here. As we take either a couple of steps or a big step in, and we're going to ground that back foot about a 60-degree angle, so it's a pretty severe angle. That's actually less severe, just so you know. Yeah, that's good, good, good. Maybe 30, depending on what side you're looking at it from. So yeah, it's pretty much facing front, but out a little bit. Straightening this front leg, we want to draw this hip back as we push into the foot and fold out and over that front leg. I'll allow you to, just like before, relax neck, heavy head, and let the shoulders slide down towards the floor. Yeah, that's right. And now here, let's move between Warrior 1 and Warrior 2 hips. Pretending your hips are a swinging door, we swing the door out and then back. And just inviting more prana, more life force into those hips. And then squaring those hips front and maybe going a little deeper into the shape. From here, let's soften the front knee. Let's take a big step back. Let's come back to our low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back, your choice. Awesome, beautiful. Take your time. Feeling free to stay wherever you are. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. You ready for the second side, Kathy?
Sure.
Awesome. All right, so big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now pitching that Left knee even higher, feel the stretch in the glute. And then sweeping that foot on through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead, as we find our warrior one. I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips as we work on our alignment here. So either lengthening the stance or not. With hands on hips, we can square those hips front. Hands find the shoulders, we can relax those shoulders and square our heart front. Switching the clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat. And then stretching those hands high. From here, finding that tray in front, breathing in as we gather energy in. On the exhale, offering it out as we circle the hands around 6 times, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in, breathing out, and holding. Rippling those fingers, just enjoying the stretch. How do your shoulders feel, Kathy?
I'm feeling good.
Okay. I mean, sometimes people like to add some oomph. I know if you do have any shoulder tenderness, maybe you don't add so much oomph.
No, my shoulders are good.
Excellent.
It's the lower parts that are a little
The legs.
aged.
So let's bring hands back to hips. Now we've got left leg front, so that left hand's going to ground that left hip as we find length on the far side, reaching up and then reaching out. Reaching up and out, up and out. We're halfway done. Up and out. Last 2. Up and out. Last 1. Up and then reach, reach, reach. We can start that twist with the wrist. Sliding to the elbow. Finding your prayer hands. And choosing to look either down, very grounding, off to the side, or up to the sky. And we're twisted, we're balancing, we're breathing. Despite our efforts, still finding, connecting with our own sense of ease, our sense of, in the French, bien dans ma peau. Is that how they say it? Bien dans mon peau.
Bien dans son peau.
It means resting easily within your own skin. So from our twist, let's move towards the hamstring stretch as we frame front foot with both hands. If we can find our bricks, you can take a couple of steps or a big step in. Straightening that front leg, we need a little bend in the knee, but not so much anyone else could see. Strong back leg, and then just pouring yourself over that front leg. Pushing into the foot, drawing that hip back. You might add a little movement before we add the bigger movement. Yeah, and then when you're ready, finding that bigger movement as we swing the hips back and forth. Warrior 1 hips, warrior 2 hips. Just juicing up that hip joint. Inviting more prana, more vitality into the very center of ourselves. Our hips are very important. They connect upper half and lower half of the body. Strong and sturdy for good reason.
Excuse me.
Awesome. We also want to find movement and a little more fluidity in that strong and sturdy structure. And then back to center. And on an exhale, maybe going a little deeper into the shape. From this hamstring stretch, Parsvottanasana, some traditions call it pyramid pose. We can come out easily as we soften the front knee and find our low lunge. Yeah. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. This is the last one. Last one today, so give it appropriate effort. So maybe you work hard, maybe you just move slow, giving yourself exactly what you want. And as we hold down dog, coming back to Samarviti, long smooth breaths in, equally long smooth breaths out. From our down dog shape, I'm going to invite you to land the knees lightly as we find a child's pose with a stack of soft fists. So just nestling your belly towards or in between your thighs and then stacking one fist on top of the other, letting your forehead rest on those fists. I'll invite you to gently rock your body side to side, just getting into those hips, releasing and relaxing your lower back. From this place, let's bring our feet off to the side, and let's come onto our back. So different ways to do that. And let's work some versions of the supine pigeon or the supine swan pose. So if you want to get onto your back with a roll down, go for it. Otherwise, just coming onto your back as you will. On our backs, we can enjoy a full body stretch. Arms overhead, hopefully don't hit too much here. It's a little crowded in the room here. Low back's going to lift. And then I'll invite you to press your back into the mat to recruit your core as you bring hands by hips and walk the feet in. So press that back in, yeah, there. Once the feet are in, the back can find its natural curve. And then we're going to bring right ankle on top of the left thigh. That's it. And then we're going to draw that left knee in as we reach through to catch thigh or shin. For thread the needle, also known as supine swan, supine pigeon. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to gently rock your body side to side. Furthermore, getting into those hips, massaging your kidneys, releasing and relaxing your low back. Now coming back center, so I'm very specific here. We're going to release the thigh or the shin, but now keep the foot there first, yeah. So release, so you're going to unthread the needle. You're going to ground down through that foot, that's right. We want to keep this top foot flexed as we bring it off the thigh to keep the muscles around the knee engaged to protect the connective tissue. Once 2 feet are down, I'll invite you to bring hand on belly, hand on top, finding your belly breath. And then there's no rush at all. We'll move towards our second side. As we bring that left ankle on top of the right thigh, take your time. Establish the shape. Foot is flexed. Once the shape is established, we can lift that knee on up as we reach through to catch thigh or shin. Once we have the shape and you feel comfortable in the shape, just starting very organically, starting a gentle rock from side to side. Getting into those hips, massaging your kidneys, releasing and relaxing your low back. And this should feel pretty good. Now from a place of movement, we'll move very deliberately here, we'll come back towards stillness. We want to keep the figure 4 shape as we release the thigh or the shin. Now you're going to ground down through that foot, that's right. We want to keep that top foot flexed as we bring it off the thigh. And then ground it down through 2 feet. As again, we bring one hand on the belly, the other hand on top, finding your belly breath. So let's work another version of the swan. It's going to reach a little different part of our hips and low back. So I'll invite you to lift both feet up, crossing right thigh over left thigh. So it's a deep connection here. You're going to draw those feet in towards. As you catch the top of the ankles, you might be able to catch the outside edges of the feet. And then as we hold this deep cross of the thighs, gently rocking yourself from side to side. Can you feel the difference there?
I love this pose.
I love this one too. We got to figure out a good name for it.
Well, it's the one, I think I can't remember what they called it, the bar method. You don't want to use that name because you could get.
We can vary it slightly.
I don't remember what it's called anyway.
All right, we'll do some research and we'll give you the name for this one next week.
How about upside down pretzel?
Upside down pretzel. Do they call it pretzel in bar method?
I don't remember.
It looks like a pretzel. From this place coming back center, let's do a little core work here.
That's San Francisco pretzel.
San Francisco pretzel. We're going to release the ankles to the outside edges of the feet. We're going to keep the legs up. You're going to switch the cross in the air.
Fun.
It is fun. Finding that deep cross of the thighs. And then drawing the knees in, either catching the top of the ankles or the outside edges of the feet. And as we hold the San Francisco pretzel, we can gently rock it from side to side. And from a gentle rock side to side, coming back to center. Let's do one more fave shape. So releasing the ankles of the feet, uncrossing. Let's keep it up in the air though, yeah. So a little bit of core work here. And then we'll find our happy baby as we draw 2 feet in, catching ankles or outside edges of the feet. Weight of the hands and the arms, just heavy those knees on down. And again, just rocking it from side to
All
side.
my favorite poses.
Yeah, I think we get a little bit of time just because, real class people do like the 4 or 5 minute Shavasana. Online it becomes dead space, so we're not going to do it that long. So we do have some time to do a couple more things just for our low back. From a place of rocking it side to side, coming back towards stillness. And let's keep legs up as we release the feet. And then I'd like you to connect the knees as you cap the knees with your hands. We'll do sacrum circles here. So the legs work together. That's it, yeah. Could be a small circle, could be a big circle. And then taking those sacrum circles the other way. And we'll go through the class of three. I always think of this as 3, 3. So now we're going to come center. Hands still cap the knees. We're going to trace 2 circles out to the side with our knees. That's it, yeah. As we do this, just notice the undulations of the low back. When the knees draw in, tailbone lifts, low back grounds. When the knees draw out, low back lifts, tailbone grounds. And really, you might exaggerate that a little bit as you start to just free up that lumbar spine, that low back spine. And then taking those circles the other way. And again, just really getting into your low back, really getting into your hips. And then the third pose in this set is we're going to trace those same circles, but one knee goes forward, the other knee goes back. Egg beater knees. And putting your mind in your low back, and notice how this asymmetrical action of the legs stabilizes the low back, which is a good thing because it's similar to what we do when we walk. One leg goes forward, one leg goes back. And when we walk, we want to keep our low back stable and solid. And then taking those egg beater knees the other way. And again, the pace is up to you. It could be very slow, very languorous, could be a little quicker. You might shift between speeds. And then from this place, coming back center. So we want to press our back into the mat. I can't really see if you're doing that, but that's going to recruit your core. As you lengthen through one leg and then the other, moving towards our Shavasana, take your time. Arms out to the side, the palms face up. And then once you're in your relaxed state, you can let the low back find its natural curve. And just let everything rest, relax, and release. And I'll dim some lights here. We won't be here too long. Beautiful day here in San Francisco. We've got the windows open. Just feeling the warm air on your face, on your body. A gentle caress for your soul. So I'm going to ring our yoga bells 3 times. Moving your mind before you move your body. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out, like watching a river as that river flows by. From a place of just watching your breath, I invite you to shape your breath, varying that ratio between the inhale and the exhale as we find a long, smooth breath in, followed by a longer, smoother, and slower breath out. Finding a more relaxing breath with those longer, slower, smoother exhales. Keeping this more relaxing breath, I'll invite you to gently ripple fingers and toes, inviting more prana, more vitality into your body. Inviting that prana in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Connecting with your own innate sense of well-being. Now pressing your back into the mat to recruit your core. As we draw one knee into the heart, the other knee follows. This time the focus is on using those thighs to massage your low belly as you gently lift and lower the low back and hips. Little circles, front to back, side to side. Let your body tell you what it wants. And respecting those wants. Connecting with your own, again, your own innate sense of well-being. From here, I'll invite you to reach back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin, keeping the neck relaxed. Keeping the chin tucked, the hands come back to the shins or the back of the thighs, up to you. And then starting to rock yourself forward to back, back to front, massaging your spine any amount. And then popping on up and finding a cross-legged sit. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees. Pulling back with your hands to settle your shoulders. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring one hand on the heart, the other hand on top. Ending our practice, watching and feeling as our breath flows in and out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga, and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you at home for practicing with
Thanks
us.
for today.
In any comments, of course, feel free to put in the comments, and we can always get to a pose that you might have wanted to do and we didn't quite get to. Anyway, namaste. Have a nice day, and we'll see you soon.
Have a nice